Hi, intermediate algebra kiddos. Sorry I'm gone today. Aiden is sick with strep, so I have to stay home with him one more day. So we are going to go through our introduction to functions lesson together. Um, so you're going to learn about what makes something a function, which is our essential question. What makes something a function? We're going to learn about domain, range, if it's a function or not, and vertical line test today. And this is a nice little intro into what we're going to be doing for the rest of the unit. So fill out the date. It's the 21st. Your class period, either 6th or 7th. Your essential question, what makes something a function? And again, as I go through this, you stop, you pause when you need to. I am going to go through as if I'm just going to not take any pauses today. So here we go. So when working with a function, you are going to be looking at a couple different things. You can be looking at a graph. You can look at a mapping diagram, which is this here. You can look at a table and coordinates, which is the x and y values. That's a really big font, so let's put that down. All right. So when you're looking at a mapping diagram, you are looking at the x values in the first, y values are in the second. So x is on the left, y is on the right. And this arrow here is telling me that when x is -5, y is 1. So x is the input. And yes, you should write all this down. It'll help you. And y is my output. This is hard to write with the keyboard. All right, so I input -5. So I'm going to put this in my table now. I output 1. All right, so I input -3. Arrow goes to 1. I input 1, arrow goes to 4. I input 6, arrow goes to 8, and I input 6, and arrow goes to 2. So I'm able to go from my mapping diagram to my table diagram. Now, I'm going to just write my coordinates as x, y. So -5, 1, -3, 1. Whoops. Shoot. 1, 1, 4, 6, 8, and I really should put 6, 2 first, but 6, 2. Does not matter with the y values. So that's taking a mapping diagram, which is basically just another visual for writing x and y's out, putting it into a table, taking my table, and I literally just put parentheses around and a comma in between x, y. Now, taking all this information, I can go into domain, range, and if it's a function or not. So for the domain, I am looking at my x values, and I'm putting them in order. So, I don't know if you can hear my dog snoring here. Jeez. So I look at my x values. I have -5, -3, 1, 6, 6. All right. Because the 6's repeat, I'm only going to put it once, but I'm going to put them in order, least to greatest. So we do a bracket, a squiggly on the outside. And yes, you need that. -5, comma, -3, comma, 1, comma, 6. That's not a bracket. Okay, that's good enough. Then I take my range, which is my y values in order. So with this one, again, my ones repeat, so I don't put that, but I put them in order. So squiggly, 1, 2, 4, 8, squiggly. Now, to tell if something is a function or not, what this is saying is a function. Every x only one time. So your x should only show up once. If you have one time, it's a 1. There we go. If I look at my table and I have repeats of x right there, repeats of 6, not a function. If I look at my mapping diagram and one of the x values has 2 arrows coming out of it, not a function. So in this case, I have repeated x's, so it is not a function. So again, as I'm going through, you go ahead and pause. Here we go. So number 2. Now I'm going to go from my table to my coordinates and my mapping. Well, coordinates is literally just putting parentheses around this. So I'm going to have you write it. I am not, because it's hard to do. So I'm going to write 1. So you're literally going to take this and write over here. So like the first one, what I would write is parentheses, -4, -5, parentheses. So you repeat with boop, 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 all of them. Now the mapping, you can either make it into circles or into whatever these are, or into little rectangles. And you fill out your x values. Again, in order, and don't repeat. Oh my goodness, look at that. Those 2's repeat again. So I'm going to write -4, 1, 2. Now, I'm going to write these numbers, and do not repeat. Now, it doesn't matter if my y's repeat for functions, it's only the x's. But because our y's repeat, we're not going to fill it out more than once here. So -5, -3, 4. All right, let's match them up. -4 goes to -5, arrow. 2 goes to -3, arrow. 1 to -5, arrow. 2 to 4, arrow. Now, there are 2 parts that show us it is not a function. This 2 has 2 arrows, and there's a repeat of 2 here. So my domain is domain for x or y. Hopefully you said x. So it would be in order, -4, 1, 2. And look at that. That is literally, I don't know that practice. You're mapping in order. So my y is my range. Bracket, -5, -3, and 4. Better. All right, function or not? Well, repeats, which means it is not a function. All right, pause if you need to. Hopefully you're understanding this, but we will have this as part of our warm-up tomorrow too, to go through it. And let's go to this one. Now, we don't have a mapping diagram. What we are going to do is take our coordinate points, put them into a graph, and then into a table. Now remember, x is your first value, y is your second. X positive is to the right, x negative is to the left. X's go side to side. Y's go up and down. Y positive to the top, y negative to the bottom. So let's go through and graph. 9, 3. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 10 by 10. So 9, that's not right. 9, 1, 2, 3, first one. 10, 3. -2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, -1. And then 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I plotted out my points. Now I'm going to fill out my table. You literally are just writing it straight across. First point's 9, 3, so 9 and 3. And then it's 10, 3. -2, 4. 4, -1. 2, 4. So you literally go coordinates to graph to table. So, domain. We are now going to take and look at our values. Hopefully you remember that domain is your x. And in order. So let's look at our x values here. The lowest, so squiggly, is -2. And then I have 2, 4, 9, and 10. Now my y's are my range. Put them in order. And now, look at that. Repeat and a repeat. So I actually will only have 3 numbers written down. -1, 3, and 4. When they repeat, we do not write the repeats out. So, did any of my domain repeat? Did any of my x's repeat? Nope. So, function or not, this time it is a function. Nice. And in a minute, I'm going to teach you what vertical line test is that you can actually use with your graph. All right, guys, fill out these words. We have for every input, so your x value, you have only one output, so only one member of the output or y value. If any x value repeats, then it is not considered a function. So not. If the vertical line, so vertical line means it goes up and down, intersects at more than one place, then it is considered not a function. So when I look at these 4 graphs, I'm going to do a vertical line test, meaning we are going to look at it going straight up and down. So if I draw throughout all of my graph, I see that it only crosses one time on my line. Because that's the case, then this is a function. So I'm going to look at this next one. Only once. 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 So again, yes is a function. And your explanation could be crosses at only one time. Crosses at only one time. But look at this one. I don't have to do all these lines. I only have to do one line. Look at how it repeats through all of that. I mean, if I just look at the single points, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6. Let's do a different color. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just in that area. So because of that, this is not a function. Now let's look at this last one. One time, one time, one time, 2 times. Uh-oh, right there. Again, not a function. So the first 2, yes, a function because it only crosses once on the line or in the point. And the last 2, no, because when doing the vertical line test, it crosses through more than one value of the input. All right, your summary. So if I were to do a summary here, I would say domain is the x value and y is the not y. Range is the y value. For something to be a function, there can be only one input for every output. The vertical line test is a method to test if a graph is a function or not. Look at that. 3 great sentences that sum up what a function is. All right, guys. This lesson was pretty quick. So if you have questions, please write them down and we'll go through them tomorrow. But right now you can put these in your binder and head on over to Math Excel through the Clever app, Math Excel homework, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.